Hi, everyone.
Greetings, everyone. Dr. Annette West, Publishing Pusher here. Thanks for joining me in the Jetnay Publishing, talking all things books. Yes, the operative words, all things. I'm excited you're here. You listen in, share your thoughts. You don't have to be live on the screen to be able to talk. And I want you to know your success is my business. I'm here to assist you, support, empower, inspire as we pull out those thoughts to get these books accomplished. Thanks again for joining me.
All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're on a new venture today. We've moved our platform from Clubhouse to Zoom. For those of you who follow me on Facebook, I will be posting this in the Jetnay Publishing room for you to go back and listen to. It will also be on my YouTube publishing channel, Jetnay Publishing, as well as on LinkedIn. So we're going to see how this flows. But I wanted to take the time today, and these sessions are only going to run about 45 minutes. We're going to keep it tight and right, all right? Because we all have things to do. But I wanted to start today by sharing a little bit about me, who I am, what I do. I've been in the publishing arena since 2006. I self-published my first book in 2006. Have been blessed to be able to coach so many people to become self-publishers for over 10 years. And so from 2006 to 2016, I predominantly was coaching people to become self-publishers. And then in 2016, I wrote the second volume, like a 10-year anniversary to the first devotional that I wrote. And from then, we have been lit. I have published at least 15 to 20 books with my name on it, some collaborations with other people as well. I've published books for other people under my company, Jetnay Publishing. I believe my goal as a teacher is to empower you to become a fisherman or fisherwoman, whatever it is, that you can learn how to fish for yourself, that you can learn how to do this. That is not as hard as sometimes people think. The question is, do we have the time, and are we willing to take the time to get our projects out? I believe that everyone has a book. Everybody has a story, but I know that everybody's not going to write their story. Statistically, if you ask 100 people how many of them want to write a book, about 90 some percent will say yes. And then if you ask them how many of you are going to do it, you might get about 10%. When it's all said and done, you're going to get less than 2% that actually does it. So even if you're watching and listening and it seems like there's a whole lot of people talking about publishing, it's not really that many in the big scheme of things. It just happens to be on the platform that you find yourself, you see a lot of it. But statistically, when you look at the larger population, it's not as many people writing books as could be. But that's just a little bit about me. I was on Clubhouse with the Jetnay Publishing for 3 years as of March 1st. and we have officially closed that session and moved here. I want to thank everyone for coming on. I mentioned that everybody has a book. When I started out in 2006, I didn't know that I was going to write a devotion. I finished my doctorate degree in 2005. My chair said, are you going to write a book about what your dissertation was on? And I was like, I don't want to write a book about human resource management practices, blah, blah, blah. I'm good at it, but that's not what I want to write a book about. So, with encouragement, I wrote a book of devotions. It wasn't anything, no new content. It was content that I had written for many years, and I just had it available. And the Lord said, put the pieces together. And what I'm saying is, many times we have content already that we're not doing anything with, that we can create a project. And I'm sure most of you have something. But that was how I got started in that writing. It was nothing fancy, was not a lot of content like we have today, where you can go on Facebook, you can go to all of these other social platforms, you can go to YouTube, you can Google search, and you can write a few words and it'll give you information. You can go to chat GPT, AI, and all of this kind of stuff. We didn't have any of that stuff, y'all, back in 2005 and 6 when I was starting to write and publish this book. So what did I have to do? I had to get the content that I could find, and I had to work through it. Did I make some mistakes? Sure I did. Do I still make some mistakes? Sure I do. Not as many as I used to make, but I still make mistakes. Guess what, y'all? I'm human. And sometimes, because we're the closest to our project, we can easily get it wrong, miss the mark, restate something, state something. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it can just happen. But that's why we have to be willing to have other eyes on what we are doing. So I really want to spend our time finding out what questions you have, your experiences with publishing, because I believe one person does not have all the answers, and collaboration is a great thing. And I do want to say thank you for giving up your time on today to come in here. And if anyone wants to come to the screen, open your mic, turn on your picture, or you don't even have to turn it on. You can just open your mic and you can just start talking. If you have any questions, feel free to, if you don't want to come on the screen, write it in the chat, and we will address those questions. If you have any questions when the session is over, go to one of my platforms and ask me the question, or you can always email me at Jetne Publishing, Jetne Publishing, JATNE Publishing at gmail.com. And we want to, or I want to answer your questions. And on here, there may be others who have insight that can answer your questions as well. I don't know what you need, but I'm here. Remember, this is Talking All Things Books, so anything that's relative to it, we can bring it to the table.
Dr. West, thank you for this opportunity to gather in this manner. I do have something that I'm looking for, and I'm hoping someone here will be able to direct me. I've mentioned that I've published books, and among the content that I usually have is hymns, where characters are singing or reflecting on hymns that have encouraged them or challenged them. My goal for this book has been to publish an ebook that's flowable and have links to the songs that readers can click on. However, when I began to upload in Kindle Create, the colors that I used in the book, the fonts that I used in the book have changed. And I've been in contact with the group. I hired someone to do it, and she was using Vellum. Vellum does not do what I need done because there's poetry in there, there's hymns in there, scriptures in there. And so there's a lots of styles. And the Vellum did not retain the styles. And we ended up having to cancel that contract because she said she could only do what Vellum did. She could not do what I needed done. And so I'm looking for a lead, someone either who knows how to upload a flowable, navigable manuscript in Kindle Create, or knows another program that will retain the styles and also have the ability to be linked by a reader. So that's my problem this week, and I'm hoping someone here would be able to assist.
Well, that is a problem, Miss Anna, which I do not have the answer to. I've not done anything in Kindle other than read something in Kindle. So that's a very hey, something else to learn. I'll have to check around and see if anybody has any insight on that. But I don't have any insight. Has anyone, Joy, have you used it? Okay. Are you?
Kindle does publish, it's called a replica, where you can simply upload the PDF of your manuscript and your book will be able to be viewed and read. But they also have one called Flowable, where people have been putting up where you can link to other sites in much the same way that you would write an academic book. And we created all the music, and they're all on the platform on YouTube. But because the program changes the formatting, it looks a mess on there. And so I'm looking for someone who has a little more experience working in that context to help me publish the book so that readers can listen to the hymns and experience a little bit of what the characters in the Christian fiction are experiencing when they listen to hymns.
Well, keep us posted, Miss Anna, as to how that, what you get, because you never know who else is needing that information as well. So when I think about, if anybody wants to say anything, okay, Joy, come on.
I want to say first, thank you, Dr. and Annette for the invitation. And also, that sounds exciting, Miss Anna. That seems very exciting, like author, the idea of your book, very exciting. My question, I first want to say I had the privilege of publishing with Dr. Annette, the co-author piece. It has been an amazing journey working with you, Dr. Annette.
Thank you.
Now I want to move into the creating series of devotionals. So I wanted to find out starting that process from beginning to finish, so I can start planning what does that look like, or maybe somebody else here also have that question of the process of starting writing your own, because I have a lot of handwriting journal and I want to transfer that into something now I can use for my workshop, for my retreats, putting those content together, working with you from beginning to end to like if you can walk with us through that journey, please. Thank you.
Yes, I think that's wonderful. And one of the things that I said, I don't know if you were already in here, is that we typically have, many of us, a lot of things that we have written through the years, and we can rework those things into books. So I think that's a great idea, Joy. It is, what I would say is, it's great if you know you want to do a series, but just think about doing a book to get started. Because once you have the book done, creating the series is so much easier. Once you've laid it out for the first book and you've figured all your parameters, I would just say to you, whatever it is that you want your parameters to be, write it down in a document. What I mean is, you can already decide what font you want. You can already decide what size fonts you want for different things that are going to be on pages. You can already decide what your indentation is. And the reason I say this is because, like for myself, I'm getting ready to send something to someone that I want them to look at, I can then give them the layout of the things that I want them to address when they are looking at the content that I send them. And it's going to help you because once you've laid out that first book, you're not going to remember everything that you decided to do. So you want to have that parallel document and just keep a flow of all the things that you did. Like, what did I do for the main cover of the book? What did I do for the introduction? What did I do for the first chapter? Because whatever you did for your first chapter, that's going to be the flow for all chapters that come behind it. So once you determine your first chapter, okay, where's my at what inches will I come down? Where am I going to start? Where's the next thing going to start? Is it going to be line 1 and then line 3 and then line 5? And what's going to go on that line? And what's that content going to look like? Like when I'm thinking about this Centered in Christ series, in my head, I already know because I've done it so many times, but I still had to write it down for someone else, right? Okay, we're going to start at 1.5 for the main heading. Then we're going to add 2.5 to put the author's name. And then we're going to go down to 3.5 to put the picture of the tree. And then we're going to go down to 4 to put the scripture. And then at the scripture, we're going to center it. We're going to center the scripture. So it's like all of these things, you have to write them down. But once you have them written down, it's going to make the next level, the second volume, much easier to do. So focus on the first one. Anybody else want to share anything, Ms. Anna? I know you've worked on some projects, so feel free to open your mic and share.
Thank you, Dr. Annette. One of the things that I would add to what Dr. West was saying is much of this work has already been done in terms of templates. Before the templates were readily available online, we would encourage authors to go to the bookstore, look at books that would be in the same genre that you're writing. What features do those books have that you're sure you want to have in your own book? Which features would you like to add that would make your book unique? But look at what's already been done. See what elements you would like to incorporate, and then connect with someone like Dr. West, as she said, this is something that I also do. And we would begin to help you pull together the kind of book that not only includes the content that you want, but also the look that you want, so that your audience, your purpose, and your message comes through in a way that honors God for the gift that He's given you.
Thank you, Ms. Anna. So let me reiterate to everyone, because some others have come into the space. This is going to be, we're no longer on Clubhouse. This is going to be our publishing space where we can connect. It's open to anyone that wants to come in, ask questions, just listen, share your experiences. We're here to help any way that we can. And I'm going to keep these spaces no longer than 45 minutes because we all have life and things to do. And we're going to keep it short and tight. But thank you for joining in. If you have a question, you can feel free to just open your mic. I just ask that we don't open and talk over anyone, but just give everybody their time to share. But thank you all again. Great question, Joy. And thank you, Miss Anna. No other questions for me? Any other questions?
I'll have another question
Yes.
if nobody comes up. Sorry. The question that I have is had to do with copyright. I know I was in one of your rooms on Clubhouse before, but I'm no longer there. But you had mentioned with, I think, I can't remember the other lady that was there as well, about copywriting. When we do any work, for example, right now, everything is virtual. You want to do a workshop and you have the little the sheets to go with the worksheet to go with. Do you copyright it or not? And how do you go about copywriting your material? That's the question that I wanted to ask.
I see Miss Anna had a comment, so I'm gonna let her go before I talk. Go ahead, Miss Anna.
I was nodding my head before she got to the word handing out things at a workshop. As long as you give credit to anything that you borrowed, uh, you're not copywriting that so much. You are giving credit to those whose ideas you're using. I'm not certain that handouts have to be copyrighted until you're ready to publish them and sell them. There's something called fair use, that schools and churches have access to resources that other people would have to pay for. And one of the things they ask you is, are you making money off of this? So if this is something that you are sharing but not charging for, the copyright demands and laws are a little more flexible. But it's never wrong to give credit to someone else if you've borrowed their ideas. But as far as copywriting handouts, I'm not certain there's any issue with that as long as you're not selling them.
Yeah, and I would say anything that you are presenting, if you're doing workshops and you're presenting, you should have your own copyright on it. All you have to do is there. So if there were an issue later and it was really your work, you would have it already predated. Everything that we do on our computers has a date of when it was originally done, okay? And even when we make changes, it still tells us when the original date was. So I just make sure you have the copyright, the year, and your name on everything that you are handing to other people. And as Miss Anna said, this is a standard, we always want to give credit to anybody that we've used their content. When we write a book, if we use people's content, we typically have a resource page at the end, a reference page, depending on what type of writing format you are using. I would say choose your writing format and stay consistent with it. If you're going to use Chicago, make sure everything you do aligns with that. I just did all my schooling was in APA, so I just stay with APA because it's what I know and it's easy. And unless somebody needs something from me and they require it in some other platform layout, I'm gonna stick with what I know. So when it'll help you choose an area, choose a type of way what format you want to use, what MLA, Chicago, whatever. Choose it and stick with it. That's what I would say. That's going to help you. It's going to help you immensely. It's going to help you immensely. But put your name on everything. You do a workshop, put your name on it. You do something on the screen, put your name on it. But always give credit to any resources that you use. I try my best not to use other people's resources. And if I do, I'm going to word it exactly the way I want it worded, and then I may say thought taken from, but it's not their words. And this is like things that I tell my own students. You want to use other people's words verbatim as little as possible, and only when it's something that you cannot think and process and create your own thought with. That's just me. Comments?
I love that question on the copyright. I also have a question about copyright, Dr. Annette. Thank you for having me. If I were to write an article and I'd like to place that article in someone's magazine, I know nothing about copyright. What do I have to do so that person cannot steal my information and I can be the one who is, the one for the copyright of that information?
Miss Anna's got the answer for you.
Before you hand over anything that you want published, have a written contract that states the parameters by which that person can use your work. There are standard contracts that are available online that you can send to them, or if it's a recognizable, valid magazine or journal, they have contracts already, and it gives your name, their name, when it was published, where it will be published, how much it will be sold for, and when and how they can use what you have written. And nowadays they are available on Adobe, where you have Electric electronic signatures. Some people prefer to print it out, sign it by hand, and then return it. But get a contract saying that this is written by Kimberly. You may use it for this purpose only. When they sign it, you sign it, and then you send what you want to be published.
And I'm going to say this is critical what Miss Anna said, because I've had the wonderful opportunity to be on some platforms, some podcasts, some TV shows. But when I got the contract, I couldn't sign the contract. And I had to cancel out of a show the morning of because they would not adjust the contract. And they said they could use my content any way they chose. No, they can't. And so I didn't consider it a loss because it would have been my face, my image, my information. You can't share it any way you want. So reading contracts is critical. Critical. Thank you, Miss Anna. Great question, Kimberly.
Thank you, Ms. Anna. Thank you, Dr. Annette.
Yeah, that was good. Any other questions? We still have about 18 minutes. Gonna stay within our 45-minute window. And just remember, if you have any question that arises after we finish, send it to me. I can bring it next week when we meet on Thursday and share it in the platform. But I want this to be about what those who come in need. I can come on here and share a whole bunch of information with you, but that's all it may be, is information. Okay, Miss Anna asked for me to tell you all about the Jumpstart Writing. Thank you, Miss Anna. So Jumpstart Writing, which there are some here who have been a part of this program, but it is a workshop where I take the time to help you jumpstart your writing is what I do. And the goal is to give you some foundational tools so that you can begin to start the process of your book. Yes, this will be every Thursday, Joy. Yes, at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The workshop is typically, it's going to be a 3-hour workshop. So I've changed it from 2 Saturdays. It's going to be 1 Saturday. I'm only going to run it probably once every 2 or 3 months now with everything that's going on. It used to be every month, and I had a lot of people. Joy was in it before. I believe Sean was in it before. I'm not sure who else was in it, but I know that I want to say that one of my friends says it's proven that it works. So I'm not just offering a workshop because I don't have anything better to do. I know with a full assurance that people have attended the workshop and walked away with so much more. I'll give you a great example. Sharon Rand, Minister Sharon Rand. She has the Pulpit Wife Ministry. Sharon Rand met me on Clubhouse. Actually, everyone on the screen met me on Clubhouse, I believe, other than SW on the screen, which is my sister cuz, Sean. But everybody else met me on Clubhouse. Exciting. Clubhouse. Miss Anna, where did we meet, Miss Anna? Help me out.
Christian Writers Group.
Ah, yes. I was and still am one of the moderators in that writing group. Yes, thank you, Miss Anna. And that's a nice group that's on Facebook. But there are quite a few writing groups on Facebook. But Sharon Rand is a great example. I met Sharon Rand here on Clubhouse. Sharon Rand attended my Jumpstart Your Writing workshop. She didn't even know what she was going to write about. She attended my Writing workshop. She finished the workshop with her foundation. She took her foundation and she worked on it. She joined me in one of my devotionals as a co-author. She went from a co-author to finishing her book. She went from finishing her book to joining my Jetnay Publishing 6-month boot camp, where she then completed her book. She also started her publishing company, which was a part of that process. And then she also has published 2 books for different people. All of this since she met me on Clubhouse and she started in that Jumpstart Your Writing. So it is amazing what you can do when you follow the flow that the Lord is giving you in such a short time. She talked about how she had been writing things for 20 years. Some of you have been writing things for 20 years and haven't done anything with it. Now is the time. All right, y'all. I was talking to somebody here. All right. What other questions do we have today?
How long is your Jumpstart, your writing course? How many weeks does that entail, or how many hours?
Okay, so the Jumpstart Your Writing workshop is 3 hours. That's going to be a 3-hour session. The Jetnay Publishing Boot Camp is 6 months. So we have Dr. Linda Robeson, who completed the 6-month boot camp, and she has her certificate now. And I think she's been a part of 3 projects, which is exciting. We have Dr. Carolyn Coleman, who had started a publishing company, and she jumped into the 6-month boot camp, and now she has expanded her publishing company, and she's working more books now and working with more clients. That was the intent for it. But that is 6 months. We met twice a month for 1 hour, twice a month, and then they had specific things that they had to do in the process.
Okay. And is the price of the 3-hour workshop on your Jetnay Publishing?
It is.
Okay.
You can go to Jetnay, JATNE publishing.org. And if the date is, if it's not a current date and you want to sign up, sign up. I will put a date in, okay? So just so
Okay.
that you know, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Great questions, everybody. Let me see what the chat is saying. Oh, that's right. Where is she? Lost Sheep Calvary Ministries. This is my friend and my ministry partner, Sybil Davis Hydell. Thank you, Sybil. Sybil said we met at PWOC. And if anybody doesn't know what PWOC is, it is Protestant Women of the Chapel, which is a part of the military community. So that's where we met. Thank you, Sybil. Any other questions? Y'all had good questions today. Dr. Carolyn Coleman. Come on, Dr. Coleman.
I'm playing. I would say this, Kim, you would love to be in Dr. West's boot camp. It is more than just the writing. The writing is great, but the information she provides that will help you to navigate publishing and that you can take with you even after the program is over is invaluable. So it's a product that you're going to get from that. So invest in that 6 months. It will be worth your time and effort, and the knowledge you will leave with and the information it provides will be well worth it 5-6 times over.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman. And you will complete a book. That's the goal, okay? And if you want to do more, you will be able to do that as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, you keep inviting me to write a book, and I'm like, I really don't know how to do that. Let me just confess that right up front.
Let me tell you all, Kimberly has a great book that has not been written yet. Why? Back in, was it October or November, Kimberly and her husband, so we've been living vicariously through Kimberly and Lee as they took their 5th wheel and have been journeying through states. And on her journey, she's come to some of our localities and has had the opportunity to connect and fellowship with us. And I was saying, and I keep saying to her, this would be a great inspirational book for many people who are thinking about doing something different and getting out there and traveling and seeing what it takes, the pros and the cons of it. She's not going to just talk about all the great things, but the, you know, both sides of it. So I already see that book for Kimberly, but I told her that before she started her journey, that that's what was going to happen, y'all. So I would like to know, we have about 8 more minutes. What are you working on? What are you working on? What is your plan? You already know what Kimberly's plan is. What are you working on? What do you want to work on? And if you're working on something, have you put it down? And when are you going to pick it up? Because if you start something and you don't have a vision for completion, it may never get done. You'll always be working on it.
Dr. West, as you're waiting for other people to put the words together of what they're going to share, you mentioned something about having a date that you want to have it. Those of you who have experience with education, it's called backward design. Plan a date and plan a product, and then work backward. What do I have to have completed in order to? And many of the writers with whom I work have a special event that they'd like to have the book completed for. It may be a birthday, it may be a conference, it may be a holiday. And so, well, in order to have my book ready for X date, I need to have it finished a month before that. And then what do I need to have done prior to that? And one of the things I'd strongly encourage you to do is include time to attend one of Dr. West's workshops, particularly the Jumpstart, because you have an opportunity to actually write during that session. And the other thing we say, when you get it written, then you can get it right. And so do some backwards design, plan a date that you'd like to have this project finished, and then continue coming here with Dr. West and talking with us and asking questions so that you can actually complete the project in not just a satisfactory way, but an excellent way. So get going, and we're here to help.
Yes. And when I run the Jumpstart Your Writing, it's typically on a second Saturday of the month, just so that everyone knows. And it's usually an early morning so that we can get it done and did, and you have the rest of your day. Anyone else?
Dr. West,
Yes.
what is the cost of your 2 courses?
What is the cost of my courses? Well, okay, so depending on how you get the course. If you do my digital course, it's $345. So that's what the course is, and I do have some people that are taking it as a digital course. If you do it live, it's normally $197, and sometimes it's even less than that. It just kind of depends. The boot camp is around $3,000 around, and that is a 6-month, and of course you make payments through that time frame. But I guarantee you it is well worth it. Because as Dr. Coleman said, as Miss Anna has said, you are going to get a wealth of information that when you learn to apply it, it will become knowledge and invaluable for you. I believe in teaching people how to fish. I can fish for you, and I'll take your money to fish for you. But if I can teach you how to fish, I feel like I'm meeting my calling. That's my goal.
I I know after working with you several times on seven different venues that I know that these courses will be worth it for the simple fact that I know what you do when you're doing your analogies and everything. And there's so much wisdom and knowledge poured in because you do teach as an open book and you teach by example. And that makes a big difference. And besides, even looking at your prices, if you lumped all three of them together, that would still be so much less than it would be to go to another publishing company and let them do it for you. And
Yeah.
instead, they're empowered.
Yes. 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 Typically, if you go to traditional companies, it's normally about five and up. I mean, I've had people come in and say they've spent 10,000, and I'm still trying to figure out what they spent 10,000 for, and they haven't gotten any royalties or anything. But I think that I'll say this: whatever price a person or a company decides to put on what they do, that's their price. And we don't knock anybody's price. But I am from the perspective of just because I can doesn't mean that I should. So that's what I think about when I am doing my pricing. But we don't knock anybody else's pricing. Dr. Coleman, did you still have your hand up because you wanted to say something? Because if so, just open your mic and just talk. So I didn't know
This
if that
this this
I
this
didn't know if
hand,
that was the old hand raising, but you don't even have to raise your hand in here. Just open your mic and go on
you,
and
you,
talk.
you know, I didn't even realize I had raised my hand the first time. It didn't want to go down. So obviously I have something to say. Talking about projects working on right now. And let me say this to you. I appreciate the fact that you allow us to share our work, though sometimes I don't get to it, but Dr. West will share your work on her pages. She gives you the opportunity to get exposure. The project that I'm working on right now, well, have completed that one, thank God. Just finished up another anthology, We Write the Letters That Heal, Uncovered. We've had great success with it. Dr. Roberson is one of the 10 writers in this particular book, 15 in the first one, and each one seems to get better and better. But right now I have 3 people that I'm working on publishing their book. I had to delay it because sometimes life happens. They were working and I was working, and I said I'm dedicating the next 3 months to finishing up other projects. But then I have to work on my own because I have 2 projects I'm working on. My daughter is writing a book, and we have 3 women from our anthologies that are now writing their own book. So we're excited about that and just grateful for the opportunities that we've been afforded. So I just encourage everyone has a story. Something has happened in your life that is so valuable that will make a difference in someone else's life. And so if you carry that with you, it will promote you to move into the next level because it's never too late to accomplish your dreams. I'm out.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman. All right, y'all. So we're hitting at 11:45, and I want to be faithful to time because we can always keep talking, but we won't. Any final thoughts for us today, or any final thing that needs to be asked or shared? Melvise,
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I was late to the
good
party
morning.
this morning, but this is great. I like this setup here and seeing everybody. This is really awesome.
Thank you.
Uh, so you were mentioning projects. So Melvise the publisher, Melvise the editor, Melvise the ghostwriter. She's been busy for the past 6 years, but Melvise the author decided to step out. And
Yay, Melvise! Congratulations. So listen, y'all, if y'all want a ghostwriter, Melvise is the one. I did it one time. That was one time too many. I'm not interested in that. So you got to find your niche areas and work within it. So if you want a ghostwriter, reach out to Melvise. Melvise, I'm excited because I know I asked you about your book. There you go, y'all. See?
yeah, so I finally decided to go ahead and revise and republish my book and finish one of my other 3 unfinished manuscripts that'll be been laying around for the past 6 years. So that's my goal. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to do it, but my goal is to revise and republish the first book and finish the second book and release both of them before the year is over. So that's Melvise the author's goal.
Congratulations, Melvise. That's great news. Yay. Wonderful, wonderful to hear. Well, we are getting ready to shut it down. And guess what? Join me again on next Thursday. Put it on your calendar. Thursdays, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I have some great people on here who publish and have companies. There may be weeks where they will be the main voice that you will hear. And I know I have people, if I must travel, that can run this space. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. And I will see you all next week. And remember this, you are blessed to be a blessing. And you are supposed to be the visible manifestation of His invisible presence. Bye-bye, everyone.